Alright guys, so we are going to draw up the C-channel 2-inch long carriage, okay? So we're going to start off by saving our file. We're going to name it C-channel 2-inch long carriage. Hit save. Okay, so first thing we're going to do, we're going to create a sketch. I'm going to select this front plane right here. And I'm going to draw a rectangle. My rectangle is going to be 1.25. I'm going to hit tab to go to the next value entry. 1.25. And I'm going to hit enter. And for future reference, make sure you're in inches, because that will definitely screw you up if you're not. Okay, so I have a 1 1/4 by 1 1/4 rectangle, right? So I'm using C-channel to make this part. It has an 1/8 inch wall thickness, right? So I'm gonna go up here to my offset tool, or you can hit O for offset. I'm gonna click on that. I'm gonna click on the edge of this rectangle. I'm gonna pull down towards the inside and go minus 0.125. Enter. Alright, so first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna click the edge of the part right there, and we're gonna hit delete. Okay, and I'm gonna click this edge and I'm gonna hit delete. All right, so let's go to line, and I'm gonna click on this endpoint. I'm gonna hover my cursor down, and I'm gonna see where it kind of picks up that alignment. I'm gonna click right there and hit escape. And now I can move this cursor right there. Now see how it moved on me? Let's hit Control Z and undo that, or just hit undo. One thing you can do to prevent that is we can reconstrain this dimension. Let's make it 1/8 inch. Now if I hit escape to exit out dimension, I can drag this over to that endpoint. Alright, so I'm going to do the same thing at the bottom. I'm going to go to line, click at this endpoint. I'm going to hover up here to get to line up. I'm going to hit escape. I'm going to hit D for dimension. Click on these edges, constrain these at 0.125. Hit escape to exit out of line. And I'm going to drag this endpoint right here. Alright, so let's go ahead and hit save. I like to hit save pretty frequently. Alright, so now I'm going to hit E for extrude. I like to rotate my model kind of at an angle to make sure that I'm actually extruding. Now the overall length of this C-channel is 2.4 inch. Now because I'm going in the minus direction here, I'm going to keep that going. Minus 2.4. And hit enter. Okay, so let's go ahead and create another sketch plane. Alright, so if you look at the isometric view on the print, and if you don't have a print, go to the description and I'll have a download link for the print, so you can download one. So if you look at this, the isometric view in the corner, you can see that basically there's some slots at the edge of the part, and then there's a hole pad, 2 sets of holes, kind of towards the edge right here, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to rotate this part so everything lines up with my print. Alright, so let's go ahead and draw a circle. I'm going to put this back in top view. And the diameter is going to be 0.197. So I'm just going to click anywhere and type in 0.197, hit enter. And let's go ahead and dimension this. So I'm going to hit D for dimension. I'm going to click on the circle and click on this edge. And if you look at the print, it's 0.214 from the edge. And horizontally, it's going to be 0.208. Alright, so let's go ahead and click circle again. I'm going to hover towards the center of this and kind of drag down. Make sure I'm lined up horizontally. Let's go type in 0.197, hit enter. I'm gonna hit D for dimension, and we're gonna make this 0.214. Alright, so let's go back to circle. Let's draw up our M3 holes, 0.118. So right here, I'm gonna type in 0.118, hit enter. Let's dimension this. So I'm constraining it to this edge, and we'll make it 0.2, and we'll constrain it vertically and make it 0.86. Alright, I'm gonna hit escape to exit circle. Click on this circle, and I'm gonna hit Control C and Control V. And I'm gonna drag this arrow down, and if you look, the two 0.118 holes are 0.68 apart. So right here, I'm gonna go minus 0.68, hit enter, and now I have that. So let's go ahead and hit extrude. I'm gonna click on each one of these circles. I like to rotate my model, and I'm gonna pull cut these, or extrude cut. So I now have this, and you want to kind of look at your model, make sure it looks like how it does on the print, like the isometric view. Some people accidentally draw it up on the wrong side. Let's go ahead and hit save. Alright, so let's go ahead and draw the slots up now. I'm going to go ahead and put this back in top view. Now if you look at the slots, it has a 0.128 radius. Right, so I'm going to click on plane. See, now you see how when I click on plane, if you look at it, it actually flips over, okay? Now you gotta be careful because you can accidentally draw on the wrong side. So I'm gonna go over to my rotation cube here and hit these arrows and re-rotate it. Alright, so I'm gonna go to circle, and I'm just gonna click anywhere over here, type in 0.128 times 2. That's because the radius is 0.128 and we're drawing the diameter value, right? So we're going to multiply that by a factor of 2. Alright, so let's go ahead and constrain that. So I'm going to hit D for constrain. And if you look in the print, it's 200 thousandths. I'm sorry, it's 0.3 from the edge. So 0.3. And it's 0.806 from the bottom edge. You know what we're gonna do? Let's skip out on the vertical constraint right now. Let's click on this circle, okay, Control C, Control V, and we'll pull this down. Now these two slots are 0.788 apart. So I'm gonna go minus 0.788, hit enter. Now what I can do, now you know what? Let's make sure these are actually constrained, because I don't have a constraint right there. So I hit D for dimension and constrain those. Now I'm going to constrain it to the bottom and make it match the print. So we got 0.806, and it kind of slightly shifted over, right? Alright, so if you look at the other what these slots are, they basically extrude cut down an 1/8 inch, okay? So we don't want to go all the way through. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to our rectangle here, and I'm going to click this center, and I'm going to kind of hover down. Now, what I want to do is come over to the edge. So one thing I could do is kind of come over here and tab this out. Now, remember the radius was 0.128. So I'm going to go 0.128 times 2. Tab that. You know, I did the wrong one here. Oh, let's undo that. Somehow it shifted. Alright, so basically I'm going to snap on right there. Click. Come down. And on my vertical distance, I'm going to go 0.128 times 2. and hit enter. Now I kind of extended this out, right? Now if I tried, I can dimension this. If I put this at 0, notice how the 0 is in red, right? It's not gonna let me do that. Oops. So one thing I could do, let's go ahead and delete that constraint. I could drag this over, but it might be hard to get to snap on in place. What I usually do is I just hit T for trim this up, and I still have that line there. Hold up. Yeah. Alright. Looks like I accidentally deleted that line. You know, I don't even need that. Doesn't matter. Okay, so what I'm going to do next is I'm going to hit escape to exit out trim, and I'm going to hold the control key down on the keyboard and select each one of these entities. And these slots are 0.788 apart, right? So I'm going to hit Control C, Control V on my keyboard. I'm going to drag this down, make this minus 0.788, hit enter, and I have this. Let's go ahead and trim that circle up. Cool. Alright, so what I'm going to do is hit an E for extrude, click on each one of these, and I'm going to pull these down minus 0.125. And I have something that looks like this. Alright, so these slots are actually mirrored on the other side. So one thing that we can do is we're going to go back, create another plane. So, you know what, hold up, let's hit undo. Okay, so I'm going to undo that. One thing I could do is, let's re-rotate that. So if you look at my model right here, I want to go at 1/8 inch deep, but this radius part of the slot, I could actually extrude that all the way down, so I don't have to redraw this twice, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually I'm going to click back on top view, and I'm going to go to rectangle, okay? Cancel out of that. Let's go to rectangle. I'm going to click on this endpoint. I'm going to come over here, and I'm going to make sure my horizontal distance is 0.125. Alright, and I'm going to do the same thing right here. Actually, if I wanted to, I could hit escape. I could select that line, copy and paste that. Control C, Control V, and I can make that minus 0.788. Alright, so check this out. So what I can do is I can hit extrude cut, and I can select just these, okay? And what I can do is I can drag all the way down, hit enter. Now, I want this portion right here to drop down also. So what I could do is on my bottom of my screen, I go back to my sketch right here. And I could go to edit sketch. And I'm going to click each one of these and make this go down minus 0.125. So I have something that looks like that, right? Not the best way to do it, but hey, it works. Now notice you still see my geometry lines, right? That's because if I click my sketch, you can see it's shown right here. It's got the little eye symbol, so I'm going to click that, hide it. Now if I want to, I could just go back over here to this side. Go to rectangle. I could click on the edge of this, kind of hover right here, bam. And make sure that you actually get that endpoint. Sometimes it'll move on you right before you click. Alright, so I'm going to click on this endpoint, hover right here, make sure it's lined up, click. I'm going to hit escape to exit rectangle. hit extrude, click on each one of these rectangles, and I'm going to pull this down, minus 0.125. Alright, so let's go ahead and hit save. Okay, so now on this back side, I'm going to click create sketch. Now I have a 0.787 hole pattern. Okay, so basically this is a carriage that goes to the SolidCore. This mounts to the linear rail, and it has a 20 millimeter by 20 millimeter hole pattern. So 20 millimeter is 0.787. So what I'm going to do is, there's a couple different ways to do this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to just draw a hole right here. It's going to be 0.118. And what you could do is if you snap on a line right here, kind of hover to this edge. Oops. Let's see, I think it lined up. Oh, you gotta be careful. Sometimes it doesn't actually go to the right direction. Alright, so these are two midpoint lines, okay? Let's trim that up right here. T for trim. So I get to click on each one of these, and I get hit X and change these to construction lines. Now really, all I really want to do is put a point right here. And I don't even really have to hit a point. I don't even have to put a point right there. I'm just doing that just because I need something to revolve. I can actually revolve off the edge of that. Anyways, so what I'm going to do is hit D for dimension, click on this horizontal, and it's 0.787, so I'm going to go 0.787 divided by 2. And I'm going to dimension it vertically the same amount, 0.787 divided by 2. So I have something that looks like this, okay? Now, what I could do is I can come over here to create. I could do a circular pattern. My object is going to be the circle. My center point is going to be this point. And let's drag this down. My quantity is going to be 4. So I'm going to hit OK. Now I have this. So I'm going to hit E for extrude. Click on each one of these holes. And extrude cut. Voila. Make sure you save. So your part should look something like this.